now that we are firmly in the grasp of 2014, most of our focus has been shifted towards some of the great advances coming to PC gaming later in the year. It's crazy to think that within the next 12 months, some of us could be gaming on Linux-based systems, not to mention using trackpads with our thumbs while watching a 4K, 120Hz, 27-inch screen using Nvidia G-Sync, or even with an Oculus Rift firmly mating with our faces. And with so much ahead, it becomes all too easy to forget some of the great stuff that we're going to leave behind. And that's why I have compiled the Pixel Twitch Top 10 PC Games of 2013. On a side note, we have already counted down from numbers 20 to 11 in a separate video, so I would highly recommend giving that a watch before continuing. In fact, here is a big fat annotation for you to click. And if you don't have annotations enabled, just look for the link in the description below this video. It's okay, I'll wait. Okay. Let's get straight to it then. So kicking off this top 10, at number 10 we have Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. Now I know that this is technically an expansion pack, but as it was a standalone and it's got nothing to do with the original game it's based on, I've stuck it in the list anyway. Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon is, well, stupid. Yet at the same time I suppose that's exactly what it's trying to be. The game is effectively nothing but a huge parody of the 80s Hollywood sci-fi action genre, as well as gaming in general. I mean, even the cutscenes, the music, the look and the sound all feel like they've been ripped directly from that era.
I'm gonna have me some fun. Go to town and baby, find out the gun. Then you have the music, buddy, have a lot of fun, oh baby.
Even the game's announcement was thought to be some kind of practical joke as it was announced on the 1st of April. And I mean, if the neon graphics, the cheesy voice acting and the dumb fun gameplay don't get under your skin, then surely these Blood Dragons will.
What's up with all the blue goo? Holy shit.
Completely shooting up the place at number 9, we have Payday 2. Now, have you ever wondered what it would be like to be part of a major bank heist? To basically sneak into the place and snatch that stash before anyone even notices? Well, Payday 2 can kind of give you that feeling, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. Most of the time you'll find you and your friends going toe to toe with more cops and SWAT than you can shake a big fat money bag at. Pulling off the perfect heist requires near perfect teamwork, so kinda like Left 4 Dead, I would highly recommend bringing some real friends along. And that's mainly due to just how bad the AI can be.
Help! Jake, over here!
Regardless, get a group of friends together and pick up the 4-pack on Steam and enter the arena of, well, fairly organised crime.
Get ready! 3, 2, 1, go!
Drifting into our 8th place, we have Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed. Now, to explain why I like this game so much, we really need to go back in time, because when I was younger, like many other kids of the generation, I had a Nintendo 64, and a copy of Diddy Kong Racing to go with it, which was, and still is without a doubt, my favourite kart racing game of all time. Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed is the game which comes the closest to that experience that I have ever managed to find since then. Sure, the power-ups are not that inventive and it lacks the same awesome story mode that Diddy Kong Racing had, but without a doubt this is the best kart racing game of the generation. It's also got a great cast of characters and a beautiful selection of tracks. Also, if you are a massive fan of the Yogscast, you can grab the DLC which lets you race as Simon. Now, what more could you want? Like, diggy diggy hole and all that jazz. Shedding its light on our number 7 spot, we have Metro Last Light. Now, interestingly enough, considering its namesake, it has to be said Metro has some of the greatest lighting effects that I have ever seen in a video game. What's even better is the fact that the light actually plays quite a big part in the overall gameplay experience, be it using it for stealth or to take down these huge crazy spider-like creatures which litter the Metro. Also, unlike the original Metro 2033, Last Light has much greater optimization, meaning that you no longer need a supercomputer to run it on decent settings. The gameplay itself is really quite linear, but it does handle it quite well. I do think the only thing I would change if I was in charge was the amount of time that you spend following AI companions, because as soon as you are left on your lonesome, you really do start to feel vulnerable and the atmosphere really starts to take hold. It's such an improvement over the original that I'm now really excited to see where Metro is going to go in the future, and I'm really excited to see a sequel, hopefully announced soon. Getting ready to backstab our number 6 spot, we have Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Now, I have to be honest, I've never really been much of a fan of the whole Assassin's Creed series. Yet, for some unknown, strange, completely random reason, I found myself completely hooked on Black Flag. Now, I understand that it's received mixed reviews from both players and critics, but as someone technically new to the series, like a fresh pair of eyes so to say, I have to admit, it's a bloody good game. Maybe it's because the characters are British, or maybe because it's pirates and the big cool ocean battles, maybe it's the much larger scale in general. To be honest, I really don't know. What I do know, however, is that something just felt right with Black Flag, and I really enjoyed every single second with it. And to be honest, it looks pretty sexy, and the voice acting is amazing, and I don't know, it's funny, interesting, fun. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is a game that I really enjoyed in 2013.
Morning all. I can wait. Who's this? Adewale, the Jackdaw's quartermaster. Jackdaw. You named your brig after a poxy bird.
And totally ganking our number 5 spot, we have Dota 2. Now, while League of Legends may still be the most popular game currently on the PC, Dota 2 is steadily climbing. Personally, I do suck at all these MOBA style games, there's no denying it, but that's not to say that I don't enjoy them, because I really do. Saying that, strangely, Dota 2 is still a game I would much more prefer to sit down and watch rather than sit down and play. Which is cool, I suppose, because earlier in the year, Valve held the International and gave away over $3 million in prizes. What's even more surprising is the fact that most of this money was community funded. I honestly don't believe that any developer / publisher has ever done quite so much when it comes to supporting one game in esports. What's more, the game is free. You can simply go on Steam right now and grab it, or you can simply watch it on twitch.tv. It's your choice, I suppose, but personally, I'd recommend going to watch it first because you're more than likely going to suck at it just like me. Coming in just outside of our top 3, we have Tomb Raider at number 4. Now, for some reason, ever since they announced the reboot to the Tomb Raider franchise, I felt really excited. Strange when you consider that I was never really a fan of the original series. When the game launched, I effectively got my hands on it and blitzed it in one go. The gameplay itself felt much tighter than what I ever expected, with you really feeling like you've got Laura's life in your hands. The added survival elements, the semi-open nature and the redesigned combat really gave this old lady a new lease of life. While sure, certain aspects of the storytelling can be really quite jarring, and the multiplayer in all honesty is a complete waste of time. The game is still very deserving of this spot, and I for one am really looking forward to see where this franchise will go next. And finally, kicking off our top 3, we have Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Now please, before you burst into flames and start slapping me with the word hipster, just hear me out. This game really crossed the line with me, where even though I admit that I did find the controls frustrating at first, I also felt very compelled to continue. If you give this game the time it needs at the start, you'll begin to realise just how much more important the controls are than simple inputs. They become the medium in which you manage to feel these brothers' pain and struggles. And because the game focuses you to concentrate so much, you become immersed. And because you feel so immersed, you really do start to feel vulnerable. And that's when Brothers becomes much more than a traditional game. The game also looks good, has decent sound and has a reasonable length, but in the interest of all fairness, I do need to point out that it's only 3 months since my brother passed away in his sleep, so maybe, just maybe, that is also something to do with how this game managed to dig itself so deep into my brain. Who knows, either way, I enjoyed it and I really do believe that you should play through this game at least once, guys. I really do. A game that you may be surprised to see at our number 2 spot is Rayman Legends. Now, I think the only way to justify a place as high as 2 is to ask the question of, what is so special about Rayman Legends? And strangely enough, I do believe your answer would more than likely be, well, nothing. However, when you look at it as a complete package, it becomes clear that the game is near perfect for what it is. The graphics are like super sexy and the audio feels completely on point. The controls again work amazingly well and the gameplay is traditional but full. The extra development time the game was given has really done it justice. Without a doubt, this is one of the best and most complete 2D platformers ever released. And I mean, I suppose it just shows how great a game is when you literally cannot think of anything else to say about it. It really does, guys. Really does. And finally at number 1, the game that some of you may be disappointed to see here is BioShock Infinite. Now, like with Brothers, I would appreciate it, guys, if you just heard me out on this one, because I will be the first to admit that I found BioShock a frustrating experience at times. And it's obvious that the combat really does need a lot of work done before the next in the franchise, and yes, the game's characters' faces are all types of ugly. And also, yes, the game feels very gamey when it comes to the justification for what's going on. I found myself like a million times over asking, why can't I just fly one of these buildings to the ground, or why can't I just steal one of these millions of police airships? However, where the game earned its number 1 spot for me was in the first and the last hours. Being introduced to Colombia was one of my most exciting moments of gaming for many years, and while I have to admit that no, it does not feel alive like some media outlets would have you believe, I do at least believe that it feels real. I found a connection more with the buildings and the aesthetic than I ever did with any of the NPCs.
Good to see you.
In-depth coverage of today's festivities. There will be hot dogs for the men.
Except for Elizabeth. She has got to be one of the most perfect AI companions in a game to date, and just watching her interact with the world so freely adds to the feeling of realism, even though that makes no sense. BioShock Infinite is a game of moments. Truly fresh and beautiful moments.
Will the circle be unbroken by and by, by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, in the sky?
I really did enjoy my time in Colombia, guys, and would definitely recommend you take a trip there in the near future if you haven't already. Okay, so before the end, let's count down that list again. We'll start off at number 20, which was Shootmania Storm. And at number 19, we had Gone Home. At number 18, Path of Exile. At number 17, The Wolf Among Us. At number 16, Shadow Warrior. At number 15, Antechamber. At number 14, Crisis 3. At number 13, The Stanley Parable. And at number 12, Outlast. And at number 11, just outside the top 10, we had Battlefield 4. And as we break into the top 10, we are introduced by Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. At number 9, Payday 2. At number 8, Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing Transformed. At number 7, Metro Last Light. At number 6, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. And at number 5, we've got Dota 2. Number 4 is Tomb Raider 2013. And number 3 is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. Number 2, we have Rayman Legends. And number 1, my personal game of the year, BioShock Infinite. Okay guys, I really do hope that you've enjoyed this video. I do plan to make more top of videos in the near future, so please remember to slap that subscribe button for some more PC gaming goodness. And as always, like the video if you liked the video. In the top left hand corner you will see a video called First Boot Delver, which is my first impressions of Delver. And in the bottom left you will see, I don't know, Only If or Dang It or something like that. Be sure to click them. Check them out, you may enjoy it. Anyway guys, I am Pixel, thanks for watching, bye bye.